How is he only a 90 overall? You have Richard Sherman, some old man who can't run for jack.
You need to put respect on Zach Ertz's name and a bunch of other tight ends that should be higher than Rob Gronkowski.
The man hasn't played since 2018. He's not going to be the NL MVP.
And then he goes onto an Instagram live where he seems to have been under the influence, smoking a cigar.
I don't think MVP is indicative of the best player in the league.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We have definitely missed you guys this past 6 days. We hope you guys have missed us as well. All of us started school this past week at the college. I hope everyone's semester started off well. I know mine did. But we're not here to talk about school. We're here to talk about go to the number, go to the week. We're here to talk about sports. So as we always do, we're going to talk about our go to the number first. It's number 35, number 34. We remember that was a long time ago, but 35 is now, and they're going to continue coming rolling back in. We're back into the group. So Tommy, I'm going to start with you. Number 35, who are you going with?
Well, I'm going to go with Frank Thomas, who's the White Sox Hall of Famer, one of the best hitters in White Sox history. He hit 301, so obviously hit for average, hit for power as well, 521 home runs, which is incredible, 2,400 career hits, and he was just great for the White Sox. I mentioned in the Hall of Fame, 2-time MVP. Let's see what else he did. 15-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger. He won a batting title. He was just outstanding for the White Sox. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go with Frank Thomas this week.
Mike.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to go with Frank Thomas. I'm going to go with a basketball player. I know some of you might kill me for this. I'm going to go with Kevin Durant. I understand that, the 2 championships he has with the Warriors kind of have like a little asterisk on them, but I think he's something we've never seen in the NBA. And he was the key piece for the Warriors in those finals. Without Kevin Durant, let's be honest, they are not winning those 2 finals against the Cavaliers. This guy's 7-foot sharpshooter, 10-time All-Star, 4-time scoring champ, 9-time All-NBA player. I'm very excited to see him come back next year and compete with the Brooklyn Nets, maybe bring them a title. We'll see, but he has to be my GOAT for the number 35 just because of the championships he has.
Matt, who are you going with here?
I ain't going to kill you. I'm going to hug you, man. I'm going with Kevin Durant, too. It pains me to go with Kevin Durant just because I don't like him. He's a snake. But, yeah, he's a snake. I'm not a fan of him, how he went to the Warriors. But he was a GOAT himself with the Thunder and the Warriors. I get that he went to 7 with the Nets. We'll see how he does with number 7 and maybe convert back to 35.
Oh, I totally forgot he went. I don't know why he changed his number. I feel like the 35 is just so iconic with Kevin Durant.
But he hasn't played a game with number 7 yet, so we don't know how he'll do. But I think 35 is his number.
Well, I'm going to have to agree with you guys. I'm going to say Kevin Durant as well. And one thing you said, Mike, is that the 2 finals championships that he might have that asterisk next to it. It definitely might because of the team that he joined. But, I mean, he was finals MVP for both of those. So it's not like Steph Curry led them to the finals championship or Klay Thompson had one of his unreal shooting days and led them to a finals championship. It was Kevin Durant who was hitting the big shots in those games. He was the one who was rising up. I remember notably a 3-point shot that he hit over LeBron James, I think it was.
In Game 3, yep.
In Game 3 to pretty much seal that game. So, I mean, Kevin Durant was known for the big shots in those finals. He's been known for the big shots throughout his career. So, it's Kevin Durant. Another name that I do want to mention, though, that I'm surprised Tommy didn't go with is Ricky Henderson.
Hey, that's a great pick, but like he wore 24 for the majority of his career.
That's what I was gonna say. As I was like looking to him, I realized that he didn't really wear 35 for. He really only wore it with the Mariners and with the A's at the beginning of his career. But nonetheless, he's a fantastic player. If he wore 35 for the whole of his career, I would have taken him over Kevin Durant. But that's just not the case.
You talk about Kevin Durant. He has his own restaurant. I think he does. It was in Oklahoma City though, so who knows what that's like.
He probably got shut down.
Yeah, probably did. But he did have his own restaurant, and he also has the shoe brand that's very popular. I know I had one of his shoes. I don't know about you guys. I'm really mad that I had one of his shoes. Like after he did that.
At
Shoes
this
are
point,
pretty
though, a
good.
lot of the NBA players have their own shoe deals.
Yeah, but I feel like it's one of the more popular ones.
Absolutely. Do we have any other key people to point out here for number 35? Tommy, any Yankees? Anyone?
No,
Brian
no,
McCann
no.
I could go with. You know, he is a very good player, but he's not this level. But hey, thank you, Connor. I haven't done a Yankee in a long time, so
Definitely got. I better be seeing a Yankee next episode.
100%.
Okay, because I'm going to be agreeing with you there. We'll throw that little vendetta in there. Maybe our viewers will find out who we're talking about. But for now, this is going to wrap up go to the number 35. NFL season came back on Sunday. It finished up on Monday. We're going to talk about the winners and losers who we think for Week 1. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We're going to hop right into our first segment, back at it. The NFL came back. A lot of stuff happened this week, and I'm sure I know I was excited. I know you guys were excited, so let's hop right into it. We're going to start with our winners for the week. Matt Kane, who are some of your winners this week in the NFL?
I'm just going to point out maybe a little biased winner because I know you guys won't point it out, so might as well I point it out. It's the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they were going against a division rival in the Minnesota Vikings, a team that can contend for the playoffs, can contend for the division too. I have him in my wild card myself. And you know, Aaron Rodgers, he just played like vintage Aaron Rodgers. You know, he was a little. People were saying, oh, the Packers, you know, they were really bad 13-3 team last year. They didn't deserve it. They technically were 13-3. I'm gonna throw Mike with his technicalities, but no, they were 13-3, and maybe they were the worst team out of all those 13-3 teams. But you can't discredit them about being 13-3. And I thought, you know, this offseason, you know, they didn't get a wide receiver, which was kind of sad. We did see a resurgence of Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Lazard last game. I just think the whole team gelled together. Jair Alexander forced fumble and an safety and an interception. So they all just played very well. So that's going to be my winner of the week. I'm excited to see who you guys will say as your winners.
All right. Honestly, I couldn't agree more, Matt. I'll get more into it when it's my turn. But Tommy, what have you thought this week?
Yeah, well, my favorite team, the Steelers, they got a big win last night against the Giants. What are we laughing at? They're my team. My dad's from
Pittsburgh. Continue.
You lagged.
I lagged. Okay, but yeah, big win for the Steelers. On Monday Night Football, they beat the Giants 26-16. Big Ben was really impressive coming off of the injury. Had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He looked really good, I thought, in his first game back. So I think that was good to see. Of course. And, you know, the Giants, they didn't play as well as they would have liked, but I still think that they'll be a little better this year than they were last year. But, yeah, definitely the Steelers. I was glad to see them start off 1-0.
I'd like to just point out that they stopped Saquon Barkley. Like
I was going to say the same thing.
They really stopped. I get that their offensive line is bad, but they still stopped Saquon Barkley.
I mean, under 10 rushing yards the whole game. Saquon did have some impact in the receiving game,
Right.
but
6 catches for six catches
for 67, I think.
Yeah, but we know Saquon is that explosive running back, and I think he'll have a bounce back game this week against Chicago.
Yeah, 100%. Anyways, Connor, give us some of your thoughts from last week.
So I actually have a team that I want to point out as a winner, and then a player that I want to point out as a winner. First, the team that I want to point out is going to be the Washington football team. They went into a game where they were overmatched. I picked Philadelphia as my NFC East Division title winners, and then they underperformed. Washington had 8 sacks. 8 sacks. I mean, maybe bringing in Chase Young there with the second pick definitely helped that defensive line even more. But Washington's definitely my team winner for week 1. My player winner for week 1, you guys laughed about it when I said that he would lead his team to an NFC wild card spot, is Mitchell Trubisky. They were down in that game 23-3 in the fourth quarter. He led 3 touchdown drives. He finished with 241 yards and 3 touchdowns. He scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter when he needed to win the most. Yes, his past resume may not be great, but we're talking about right now in 2020 NFL season, he's off to one of the best starts. So he is my winner as a player for week 1.
I would like to say they should have not won.
That is true.
DeAndre Swift should have caught that in the end zone, but he did play great.
I mean, I guess you could pick Trubisky. The Bears did win the game and whatnot, but okay, so that's your winner of the week. Well, first off, Matt, the Packers look fantastic. The Minnesota secondary is absolute Swiss cheese. I mean, they're going to be a great fantasy matchup for any, wide receiver coming up because Aaron Rodgers was just throwing a party against the Vikings, and I thought the Packers looked very impressive. I'm going to be interested to see if they can continue that and stay with more passing game than the more downhill running that they had last year. But anyways, moving on. I think my winner of the week is also another team that has changed their game plan from more run-centric to more pass-centric, and that's the Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson. Last year, for the past couple years, they've been top, 3 or 4 in rushing attempts every year with Chris Carson. That's why I thought Chris Carson was going to have a big year, but I might be mistaken because Seattle is letting Russ cook. They are letting Russ lead this offense. 31 of 35, over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, Russ absolutely torched the Falcons' defense. They had no answer for Russell Wilson in the air or on the ground. He had some nice passes to Chris Carson out of the backfield. Metcalf had some nice deep balls to catch, and Tyler Lockett with all the in-between stuff. I mean, the Seahawks were just amazing. And while their defense wasn't, outstanding, they're playing the Atlanta Falcons, who has probably one of the best passing attacks in the league. So my one of the week definitely has to be the Seattle Seahawks and just letting Russ cook. Hashtag let Russ cook.
One more team that I feel needs to be mentioned here is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Definitely the Jacksonville Jaguars and Gardner Minshew. They went up against a Colts team who a lot of people were thinking could be in that AFC, maybe. But, obviously Jacksonville went in there. People were projecting them to have the number 1 overall pick next year. And they went in there and they kind of silenced all that, at least for week 1. Gardner Minshew went 19 for 20. He had 1 incomplete pass the entire game.
Really?
He only threw for 173 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns.
Got it done. He won the game.
He won the game, and he did what he had to do. So that's definitely another week 1 winner for me is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's a great one, Connor. They kind of slipped my mind, but when I saw the result, I was absolutely shocked. But anyways, anyone else have any other winners from week 1? No? All right. Let's get right into losers now. We'll go back around the other way. Connor, who do you think underperformed this week?
Adam Gase. I'm going to try to sound as least of a sore fan right now as I am, but the Jets offense was just miserable. Through the first quarter, they ran 9 plays. They had 3 3-and-outs, and they had 4 total yards. Le'Veon Bell, he was out most of the second half with an injury, but in the first half, he ran the ball 6 times. Sam Darnold could not hit a throw to save his life. What absolutely killed me was they were driving there at the end of the second quarter. They had a chance to go into halftime with some momentum. They were down 21-0. 15 seconds left, no timeouts. They throw a screen pass to the middle of the field with no timeouts left. That's an awful play call if you're trying to get into the end zone at the end of the half. So for that reason, Adam Gase is the loser of the week. You have to call a better offense. You have to include your star players more. And Le'Veon Bell only running the ball 6 times and a half is not acceptable. It's not. And that's not how you win football games against a Buffalo defense like that. You brought in a revamped offensive line to get Le'Veon Bell the ball and to get him touches, you have to do it. The New York Jets offense is the losers of the week.
All right. Matt, I'll go with you first instead of Tommy. I'll let Tommy think about what he has to say. Matt, what do you got?
It's got to be a big fat L for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Damn it, that was mine.
Of course that was yours. I've got to go with it. Eagles are a team that I have winning my division. I'm still gonna stick with it. I like to stick with my picks, even though it's just 1 week. But seriously, a big fat L. They were up 17-0. The first half, I'm not gonna lie, I thought they played pretty good.
They looked awesome.
Like
and,
that.
And then they scored 17 points. That was a problem. Maybe 17 points, a little curse there. We'll see throughout the season. I don't know what happened.
Dallas Goedert, he played great. Then Carson Wentz just started forcing stuff where it didn't need to be, and then he threw 2 picks. He got 2 fumbles. One was recovered by the Eagles. One was recovered by the football team. I almost called them the football team towards the end. But, yeah, it's got to be the Eagles. I think that's an easy one. But if you want me to give out another one, it's going to be Steven Gostkowski. I get that he hit the game-winning field goal, but how many field goals did he miss?
1 for 5. And I think he missed a PAT.
Come on, man.
Matt, that's a great pick there, along with Connor's good pick. Tommy, can your pick live up to theirs?
So we have to go with somebody different. I was going with the Eagles, but I have another one. I'm going to go with the 49ers. They were winning. They were playing pretty well in the first half. Their win going into the second half, and then there was no scoring in the third quarter, but then they gave up 14 in the fourth quarter, and they lost the game 24-20. And it's not the worst loss. It's not as bad as the Eagles, but obviously the 49ers, they had higher expectations. They made it to the Super Bowl last year, and you definitely want to get a week 1 win, but I think they'll bounce back. So they're my losers for the week.
Tommy, that's honestly a really good pick because, like, last year, the 49ers had a great offensive attack against the Cardinals in both games. I know Jimmy G threw 300-plus yards in the second game last year, and the Cardinals defense kind of buckled down this week and nearly, shut them down. But that's a good pick. Obviously, the Eagles have to be one of my losers of the week. I'm not going to go too much in depth, but I'm a little scared about the Eagles now. Their offensive line, I understand the Washington defensive front is really good, but 8 sacks. Carson Wentz was getting pressure the whole game, and even when he wasn't getting pressured, he didn't play well at all. He had a 13 QBR, 2 interceptions, 1 lost fumble, another fumble. Their own team recovered, like Matt mentioned, but Carson Wentz didn't play well. There's just a rash of injuries in Philadelphia. Miles Sanders, hopefully he'll be back next week. Same with Lane Johnson. But there's no offensive line help coming for Philadelphia, and that's a major concern for a quarterback that has gotten injured over the past couple of years. So they're one of my losers of the week. And another one of my losers of the week, I feel so bad for this team. I chose them to make the last wild card in the playoffs. It has to be the Cleveland Browns. They absolutely stunk it up against Baltimore. 38-6. Really, that's all you got? Odell Beckham had 3 catches on 10 targets. Stefanski, I was hoping that, they'll become a more run-centric team, but they didn't even run the ball well. I don't know what they're doing in Cleveland. They're completely lost out there. I'm going to say this right now. Kevin Stefanski is a horrible hire. Their talent, if they manage to get in the playoffs, it's going to be on their talent alone. I think Cleveland is still a very talented team. I just think I didn't like Stefanski in Minnesota. I thought Kubiak was the real offensive coordinator last year, while Stefanski just took it back. See, I don't know how he got the head coaching job, but it definitely has to be the Cleveland Browns. They disappointed me.
Yeah. I just want to point out last one. A big, not a huge L, but like it's kind of an L to Joe Burrow. It was his first game. I don't think a rookie quarterback has ever won his debut game. Not sure about that.
Sam Darnold won.
Did he play the first game like the first season?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't remember what the stat was.
Maybe the number one pick for a quarterback.
Oh yeah, that was
That was it.
yeah, the number one pick. The field goal, he should have hit that field goal, but
I mean, the Chargers have a tough defense. Two of the best cornerbacks in the league, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, and a bad offensive line for the Bengals. I mean, I think it was a tough opening matchup, and they squeaked out with a 3-point loss, and they honestly should have tied it. That was a chip shot field goal for the Bengals. Sucks for them, but definitely not as bad as the others, as everyone else that we chose here. Definitely huge losers, and definitely major concerns for them going into the next week of the NFL. Any other comments on the NFL before we move into our little NBA segment?
I guess, Mike, I don't want to get you all heated here, but the questionable play call by Mike McCarthy on not kicking the field goal there on 4th and 3, I would say that would make him a slight loser because that could have tied up the game rather than going for it and then giving all the momentum back to LA.
So basically my thoughts on that, before the 4th and 3, it was 3rd and 6, and they decide to run the ball up the middle for some reason. I'd rather, throw the ball there instead of getting a measly 3 yards. I don't hate the call on 4th and 3. They were moving the ball down the field really well. And, if they get the first down there, they more than not score a touchdown there, right? So, and then they take control of that game. Personally, I would have kicked a field goal. I'd rather just, especially in that moment of the game, I feel like you have to kick a field goal. But think about it more. I'm not like, my head isn't fuming about the decision. And I could go into, about the OPI at the end of the game against Gallup. But, it is what it is. You can't change the call now. I think it was absolutely, ludicrous, that call, and how it wasn't reviewable. But the one thing that I noticed that I don't see anyone else noticing is, I mean, a couple, Cowboys fans and stuff, the offensive line was not good. It was not good. Lyle Collins is on the IR. The Cowboys don't have any help coming to their O-line either. Like, their star offensive guard, Zach Martin, was getting bullied by Aaron Donald all night. Aaron Donald was throwing their offensive line around like they were rag dolls. I mean, it was ridiculous. And then Mike McCarthy, what are you changing at halftime? You were in the shotgun the majority of the first half. You scored 14 points. You were driving the ball down the field. You come out in the second half under center more. Listen, I could go more in depth for this, but we need time for our NBA preview. But I think the Cowboys will get it fixed. I think the Cowboys have a lot more hope than the Eagles do right now. And completely unbiased, I think the Eagles are in trouble.
Well, it wouldn't have been an NFL segment without Mike ranting about the Dallas Cowboys, at least a little bit. I ranted about the Jets, and Matt's high on.
I wasn't ranting. I was praising.
Very high on the Packers. So Tommy's team also saw a Week 1 win. So we all got our plus and minuses here for Week 1. We'll definitely keep you guys up to date on the weekly NFL action. But for now, we're going to be moving into the NBA. We got a big Game 7 going on tonight as we're filming on Tuesday, as well as the start to the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll dive into all of that next.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We just had a conversation about Week 1 winners and losers of the NFL. We will bring back NFL previews next episode since we changed our schedule. It kind of fits around the NFL schedule, but we will include the other sports. Tommy, don't get mad at me for not saying anything about baseball, but we'll move right into the NBA. Game 7 tonight. Tonight for us, you guys are already going to know what's going to happen, so we're going to be very brief on this. It's the Nuggets-Clippers. Guys, who do you think is going to win? Does anyone want to start? I'll start myself. Okay, so I honestly think the Clippers are going to win. I hope the Nuggets win, but I think Clippers are going to win.
Nuggets have all the momentum in the series right now. It's going to be a good Game 7. I think the Clippers are going to wind up winning it at the end, but the Nuggets are going to be in this.
Yeah, no doubt. I have to agree with you guys. I'm absolutely dumbfounded to how bad the Clippers have been in the second half of games. I don't understand what's going on in the first half that's not going on in the second. I just don't think that they're locked in. They obviously haven't taken the Nuggets serious enough in the second half, especially getting blown out in the second half in Game 6, 60 something to 30 something. But it was just miserable at the end of the day. If the Clippers lose Kawhi isn't the best player in the NBA anymore. I'll just come out and say that right now. Obviously, if he loses in the Western Conference semifinals to the Nuggets, he's not the best player in the NBA anymore. I can't defend that anymore. But I think Kawhi is going to come out, have a big game tonight, and the Clippers are going to advance to the Western Conference Finals and then beat the Lakers in 7. Tommy, what do you think? Who's winning tonight?
I have the Clippers. I think that they're gonna win, and I want them to win. Unlike Matt, but my bracket's no secret. I had the Bucks going the whole way, and I had the Clippers going to the finals. So they're my last hope of getting some part of the bracket correct. So I have the Clippers.
I'm just very nervous about the Nuggets tomorrow. I mean tonight technically. Just the Nuggets. They scare me. I just have a weird feeling that the Clippers are gonna blow it. I think Clippers might be cursed.
All right. Well, guys, Tommy, you want to say something?
No, my phone's ringing. I'm all right.
All right. Well,
now me for once. Let's go.
Well, if you guys are listening to this and the Nuggets won, go at Mike Boetti. No, I'm kidding.
It's so embarrassing.
We're not gonna do that to you, Mike. But we'll transition right into the Eastern Conference Finals preview. Miami Heat, Boston Celtics. Maybe I should just give out my opinion first.
Yeah, you guys go first.
Okay, so I think it was episode 2. I said Boston was going to be my Eastern Conference final. I'm pretty sure or the Eastern Conference winner, but I did also say that they would lose the Sixers first round. But I didn't think they would meet up. That's the only thing. That's the conditional.
I see.
But I went with the Celtics. I flirted with the Raptors winning the Eastern Conference Finals. I have the Bucks in my bracket, so gotta go with the Heat. I think the Heat in 7, but I can see either way. I honestly have no idea at this point. Tommy, what do you think?
I'm going to take the Heat too, but I think they're going to win in 6 games. I think the Celtics are a very good team, but I don't know. Connor's been talking about the Heat this whole time, and I picked against them, but I can't do it anymore. I'm going to pick the Heat. I don't know. I think they're going to play well, obviously, and I think 6 games. I don't know. It definitely could be 7, but I'm going to go with 6.
All right, let's let the cookie crumble. Who wants to start?
Mike, why don't you start?
Connor, you could go first.
No, please. We'll let the losers go first.
Well, first of all, neither of us lost. Respect to getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? Honestly, the Heat have played well this whole playoffs, and they've been proving a lot of people wrong. But so have the Celtics. I know you all 3 picked the Raptors to win in 6. But the Celtics didn't end up winning in 7. Arguably, they should have won in less games, but we won't get into that. Connor's, sighing and whatever. But I'm going to take the Celtics in 7. I think it's going to be a very, very tough series between the two. I think the Heat are probably, I don't want to go too far in this, but I think that they have the same structure as the Raptors. I just think they have a less team, but they have like that one star in Jimmy Butler who could close out games for them. So that's one thing I'm nervous about when it gets late in the game. The Raptors didn't really have a wing player that they could just say, go get me a bucket and let's go up 2 points and we'll defend on the other end. And also I think the Heat are going to have more trouble defending the Celtics than the Raptors. The Raptors did a great job in the Celtics. I think the Celtics offense is going to be better this series than last series, so that's why I'm taking the Celtics.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go Heat in 6. Here's the thing. Here's what I think. First off, you mentioned that their defense may be a little harder to defend the Celtics. I mean, they shut down Antetokounmpo. They shut down Middleton for 4 of the 5 games. He showed up in game 4 when he needed to be shown up. When he needed to show up. Brook Lopez played okay. He had a couple good games. He relied on the 3-ball too much, and it went in a couple times. That's where Brook Lopez's points came the most of that series. Their defense was absolutely amazing throughout that entire series. Their man-to-man defense, their zone, they switched so consistently. There was no open spaces really on the floor. Even when Chris Middleton was hitting those shots in game 4, there was a hand in his face the entire time. So I would not discredit Miami's defense at all. Now, you mentioned the wing player in Jimmy Butler. Miami Heat, unlike the Toronto Raptors, have a lot of very good three-point shooters. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, Jay Crowder, Andre Iguodala. Jay Crowder was absolutely unstoppable against the Bucks. I think he had over 5 threes in every single game. So they have these three-point shooters. Yes, the Raptors have some solid three-point shooters, but they have these guys where Jimmy Butler can drive to the basket and everyone's going to collapse on him. He can pass it out to the wing, and that three is going to go in 9 out of 10 times. So it's just, don't make a face at me, please.
I mean, 9 out of 10 times, 90% you're driving and kicking for an open three, then you're making it. I don't think 90%, but whatever, continue.
It's just Miami's offense this year is something that the league hasn't really seen. Is you have that big guy in Bam Adebayo who can be consistent, and he has the ability to pass the ball. He's a very versatile big man. You have the wing player in Jimmy Butler who can do everything. Then you have those three-point studs around him. I mean, Duncan Robinson's story is amazing. He went from being a D3 athlete to becoming undrafted to now he's starting in an Eastern Conference Finals game and he's hitting the big shots. Tyler Hero is a rookie who no one knew what to expect. He's coming in and he's lighting it up in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference semifinals to put away the #1 seed. They have these – you guys did this in episode 2, is you guys discredited these smaller names and these smaller players and said they're too young of a team to make it this year. They only have Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler's not even a star player. That is exactly what you said, Mike Boetti.
And I never said Jimmy Butler was not. I said he wasn't that player that can lead his team to a championship.
And what is he doing right now?
Leading his team to a championship.
Leading his team to a championship. Thank you for filling in the blank, Matt. This team, they've been so underestimated this entire season. That's the word that's going to when Miami beats the Celtics and if they are able enough to win the NBA Finals, that's going to be the word that defines this entire season is underestimate. Underestimated is what every single player, fan, analyst, everything has done throughout this entire season for the Miami Heat. Even when they were up 2-0, 3-0 on the Bucks, the analysts weren't talking about what Miami's doing right. They were talking about what the Bucks were doing wrong. And that is not right. Talk about the team that's excelling, not about the team that may be underwhelming. Talk about the team that is doing so good. Are you crying, Matt?
It's such a moving speech, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, well, can I talk now? Are you done?
And I just want to make it known that not once in my speech did I just discredit the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics are a very, very good team, and they're talented, and they have a lot of young core players in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and a star in Kemba Walker. So it's definitely going to be a tough series for both teams. It's going to be a tooth and nail, who wants it more series. And at this point, I think Miami has done it more. They have a lot more to prove. So I think that's why they're going to put the more effort in and win this series.
Well, you talked about like 3-point shooting. Miami does have a great 3-point shooting cast, but so did Toronto going into last series. You could talk about this sob story with the Miami Heat saying, oh, they're underestimated. Oh, Duncan Robinson, D3 player now becomes starter on the Eastern Conference Finals team. And Tyler Hero, he's a rookie no one expected. Don't forget Kendrick Nunn, right? These are all great stories, but I just don't think that they're talented enough to get it done against a Celtics team that have proved that
the Bucks are better than the Celtics. You said that they weren't able to prove it against the Bucks, and they proved it then. What's going to stop them from proving it now?
Can you let me finish? I said, let me finish. I think the Raptors are a better coach. They're a better system than the Heat are, right? And apparently they were underestimated this whole season. The Celtics come in and they beat them in 7, right? I think the Celtics defense is severely underrated. The Raptors have a ton of wing shooters just like the Heat. They have Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, OG Anunoby, who had that huge shot in Game 3 that saved the Raptors that series, right? They have Norm Powell, Marcus Gasol, Serge Ibaka. They're a very similar team to the Heat, and the Celtics beat them. I think the Heat have a slightly worse defense. I'm not saying the Heat are a bad team, but I'm saying this is a good matchup for the Celtics. And you were talking about how they shut down Giannis. Giannis is more of a one-dimensional player. He's going to drive to the rim. They have Bam Adebayo, who is a great player in the middle for him. But the Celtics have a plethora of options that they can go to in their arsenal. They have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who are great wing players who can drive and shoot the three. Kemba Walker can drive and shoot the three. Then you have Marcus Smart being a pest on the defensive end. Listen, this is going to be a very tough series. I'll leave it at that. I just think the Celtics have a slight edge. I would not be surprised in any way if the Heat win this series, right? But I just think the Celtics are just a little better team at this point.
Don't say Nick Nurse is a better coach than Eric Spoelstra. Don't say that.
I just
You
did.
did. You did. You said the Raptors are better. They have a better coach than the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
That is what you just said.
Yeah.
Eric Spoelstra is undoubtedly one of the best coaches in the NBA.
So is Nick Nurse. I just think Nick Nurse is a better coach than Eric Spoelstra. I'm pulling threads here.
Eric Spoelstra ran circles around Bud Budenholzer. Circles around him. His game plan against the number one team in the NBA, they had no match for it. They had no match. And with this extended break that Miami has had, all he's been doing is game planning every day. I guarantee you that he have watched every single Celtics game that they've played. And they're game planning. They now, this is how good of a coach as Eric Spoelstra is. He knows the Boston Celtics offense by now. He's seen it. He's studied it. He is an NBA
series.
He is an NBA championship coach going up against the still young Brad Stevens. And I guarantee you, he ran circles around Mike Budenholzer, who hasn't won an NBA championship. He's going to run circles around Brad Stevens. It doesn't matter about the talent on the floor. It's how well they're coached. And Miami has had this break. They've had this extended break to rest up. Again, they've had this break to study. They've had this break to analyze the Boston Celtics, and it's not going to be close. He's going to run circles around Brad Stevens' offensive playbook.
Okay, so you said that, it was going to be a close series. You said it was going to be tough, but now you're saying that the Heat are going to run circles around the Celtics. I'm confused. Which one are you choosing? Are you saying the Heat are going to dominate the Celtics, or are you going to say it's going to be a close?
It's going to be a close series, but the strategy of it isn't going to be close. Eric Spoelstra is going to outmatch them.
I think you're sorely mistaken. The Celtics have had 4 days to prepare for this game too, right? It's every NBA team does this. They know what each other are going to do. At the end of the day, it comes down to who's going to execute better. And you know who will execute better? The players who have more talent, who can get it done on a more consistent and a more highly efficient basis, and that's the Boston Celtics. I think they're the more talented team, and I think they will win this series. It's going to be tough. I'm not denying the facts there. It's going to be a tough series, but I think the Celtics will come out on top.
Heat in 6.
All right. I think you guys both made your points. Tom, you still alive down there?
I'm still alive. I'm doing great.
Okay, well, that's good.
Forward. It's going to be a good series.
We'll move into a short go picks, then go into the go of the week next. Welcome back to Go Chat. We just talked about the Heat and Celtics preview, but we're going to move right into Go Picks. We got the Go Picks leaderboard up right now. Tommy, why don't you talk about our baseball game?
Yeah, so we're going to start off with the White Sox against the Twins. Big divisional matchup there in the Central. They're both fighting for first place, fighting for second place as well, obviously, with the new playoff format. So it's a big game. We're going with the game that's on Wednesday night. Just a single game. Normally we do the series, but Lucas Giolito's going to pitch for the White Sox. We don't know who's going to pitch for the Twins. I'll start with you, Connor. Who do you have?
I have the White Sox. I think the White Sox can come in. Lucas Giolito is on the mound. We don't know, as you just said, who the Twins are going to be pitching. I don't think it's going to matter who the Twins are pitching. The White Sox are just an overpowered team right now. They've been on a great roll, and Lucas Giolito, their ace, being on the mound, is going to lead them to another win.
It's a good pick, Connor. Who do you have, Mike?
I got to agree with Connor here. I think Giolito is going to lead them to win. I'm pretty sure the White Sox are on the top of the AL Central right now, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
They're a really hot team right now. There's someone, we consider could break out, but none of us really predicted them to break out, but they're breaking out this year, and I'm going to roll with them. I'm taking the White Sox in this game.
Good pick, Mike. Who do you have, Matt?
I'm gonna roll with the White Sox too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the White Sox too. You guys mentioned it. They've been playing great the entire season. They got their ace on the mound, so that's who I'm going with.
Now we got Thursday night football, which is the Cincinnati Bengals versus Cleveland Browns, both 0-1 teams in the AFC North. Connor, who are you gonna roll with that game?
Joe Burrow's going to get his first NFL career win. I just think that he's going to come in. I mean, he went down 0-1. This is uncharted water for Joe Burrow. I mean, even though it's his only second career NFL game, he has not been known for losing. Even before he was in LSU, he was with Ohio State. So I think Joe Burrow is not going to want to drop down 0-2 in a season. He's going to come in and do whatever he has to do to win.
Mike?
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take the Browns here. Listen, Joe Burrow is great, but it takes a team to win a football game, and I just think the Browns team is better than the Bengals at this point. I think Myles Garrett is going to, absolutely destroy that weak Bengals offensive line, and I think the Browns will get their running game going more, and hopefully their pass game will come along with it.
I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I almost said the Browns for a second. The Browns played like Browns, like Brown.
Played like doo-doo. That's what they played.
Yeah, there you go. That's basically what I was trying to get at. First week, and Baker Mayfield won his first game Thursday Night Football against the beloved New York Jets 2 years ago in 2018.
They were on.
That was his first game. Now, yep. I'm pretty sure it's 17-0, right, Jets?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yep, I think Joe Burrow is going to win his first game here. Tommy?
I'm going to disagree, Matt. I'm going to go with Mike. I think that the Browns are going to win. I don't know. I think that Joe Burrow is obviously very talented. I have the Browns in this one. It's in Cleveland. And as we all know, the fans aren't as big of a factor this year because, they're not there. But but I don't know. I just think that the Browns
they got the familiarity with the turf at Cleveland, okay?
Of course. They're going to win on Thursday night.
So we're going to have the NBA and NHL. We don't know what games are coming up after this episode. So we'll have those on our graphic, but we won't be explaining them. But we'll have them there. So and it'll count towards it. So we'll move right into the Go of the Week, though, next.
Hey, everybody. We're back for the Go of the Week. The leaderboard is up on the screen right now. Matt and Mike are tied for first, and Connor and I are trailing behind. But we're going to be back. This week, we're going to be moving a little closer up on the leaderboard. So I'm going to start with you, Mike. Who is your Go of the Week?
Well, first of all, thank you all for the win last time. Jimmy Buckets, Connor's guy, really helped me out. Hopefully, this week he definitely won't play as well as he has this whole playoffs. But anyways, we'll get right into Go of the Week. I'm going to go with Russell Wilson right here. I talked about him for one of my winners of the week. I'm just going to keep heaping praise on him. I mean, this guy is absolutely fantastic. Not only is he such a talent on the football field, just his mind allows the Seahawks to do so many different things on offense. I mean, this guy was 31 for 35 with 322 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. He also added 29 rushing yards on the ground. I mean, he led their offense to a win against the Falcons, dominating win. And he has to be my Go of the Week.
It's a good pick, Mike. Who do you have, Matt?
Man, Mike, you should have went for Russell Wilson as MVP like me and Connor did.
Listen, Dak's going to make a comeback.
Well, my Go of the Week, it's going to be a football player. It's going to be my homeboy, Aaron Rodgers, of course. He was 32 for 44. He threw more yards than Russell Wilson, just saying. 4 touchdowns. And he just looked – I'm telling you, he looked like vintage Rodgers. It was like I was watching a new guy. I mean, rolling out, throwing it perfectly to Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, great catch, toe tap. But he looked absolutely phenomenal. I could go on about 10 minutes about everything that he did so right. But I heard he's doing yoga, so maybe that'll help his legs this year.
Could it be the departure of Danica Patrick in his life?
No, she brought in the yoga. I think she brought in the yoga.
That's totally wrong. I think it's a combination of Jordan Love and being left out of that top 10 NFL list. I honestly think he might have an MVP season coming up here.
His fire is fueled right now. From the media to Jordan Love, which is kind of combined.
Listen, he's been listening to Go Chat every Sunday and Thursday. I mean, every Monday and Thursday. So obviously he's been hearing me talk all this smack about him. He has something out against me, but we'll see what happens.
I've heard so much smack about him this whole off season. I'm so excited for this season, but I've taken too much time out.
Yeah, that's a good pick, Matt. Connor, who do you have?
So I'm going to go another football-oriented pick, but it's not going to be a player. It's going to be a coach. It's going to be Ron Rivera. Any of you viewers who know Ron Rivera's story is he was diagnosed with lymph node cancer after he had signed his contract to be the coach of the Washington football team. He started chemotherapy just a couple weeks ago. He was not sure if he was going to be able to be on the field there week 1 with his team. He was able to get out there, and he led them to a week 1 win. So for the reasoning of Ron Rivera going through chemotherapy and still being able to be out there with his team, doesn't matter whether they won or lost. He was my go to the week either way, and he just added a win. So it's definitely the resurgence and the will to not give up to cancer is definitely my point here. It's definitely got to be Ron Rivera.
That's a great pick, Connor. Really great story there. And you all went with football people, but I'm going to have to go the baseball person. But I think that this week he is deserving. Alec Mills threw a no-hitter in just his 15th career start, which is pretty remarkable. He was outstanding. No-hit the Milwaukee Brewers, big divisional matchup, and he stepped up to help the Cubs win the game, big no-hitter. And the other no-hitter in Major League Baseball this year was on the south side of Chicago. Lucas Giolito did for the White Sox, and that's the first time in baseball history that pitchers from both Chicago teams have thrown no-hitters. So that's a great story there, and very impressive outing. So Alec Mills is my go of the week.
I just want to make it known that when I had Lucas Giolito for my go to the week after throwing a no-hitter, I didn't win, so therefore Tommy is not allowed to win.
I think I won that.
You did win.
So.
Oh yeah, with LeBron.
Was that LeBron or Luka? It was LeBron. Hey, LeBron, he's the best player in the NBA. Of course, they saw his face.
Ripped.
Yeah, they saw that he was absolutely ripped, and they're like, gotta pick him. Right, Tommy?
Absolutely. That's right. I haven't won in like 5 weeks, so I'm hoping that this is.
Tommy, ever since you said you were the king of go to the week.
Yeah,
but that's what happened with you though too, right? You went down for a little
I don't
while.
think you've won since you picked a Yankees player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Yankees haven't been playing well. Even if he did pick a Yankees player, it would be like I don't know, like Andrew Horn went like 1 for 6 this week or something.
No, he did well. He was playing well. But no, I just want to say
he played so well. He got sent down to the minors, man.
Because there's no room for him. There's no room. We're so talented that we don't even have room for good players.
Yankees are so talented, they're barely 500.
All right. No Yankee banter.
Okay.
We don't stand for that here on Go Chat. As always.
Yes, we do.
No,
you can't talk for all of us.
That's all I do, but
as always, it's been a great episode. We seriously have missed you guys. I've missed being here with the guys. I've missed talking sports. I've missed yelling at Mike. But we're back. We're going to continue these 2 episodes a week. It's going to be a little different of a schedule here. It may take some getting used to, but definitely hit the subscribe button so you guys get notified when we're posting. Hit the bell. Follow on Instagram. I think right now we're very close to 400 followers, so be that 400 follower for us. We'll be back on Saturday for definitely another NFL preview, as well as maybe we'll talk some baseball. We haven't talked baseball in a while, and we will have some baseball on that episode. But until then, watch some sports and stay well. We'll see you guys on Saturday.